I have great respect for the FBI for righting this wrong. The American people fully understand her corruption, and we hope all justice will finally be served.
I have now seen Director Comey's letter to Congress. We are 11 days out from perhaps the most important national election of our lifetimes. Voting is already underway in our country. So the American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately. The director himself has said he doesn't know whether the emails referenced in his letter are significant or not.
Just when the end of this most extraordinary election was in sight and the likely outcome seemed to be evident as well, yet another striking turn. The candidate now leading the polls is once again under FBI investigation for her handling of classified information. Joining me now is Chris Wallace, host of Fox News Sunday. So, Chris, what do you think?
Well, you know, just when you think it couldn't get any more shocking, any more twists and turns, it does. I see you've got a copy of the letter that Jim Comey, the FBI director, sent to all of the top committee chairmen in Congress, ranking Democrats. And you kind of are looking at it like Indiana Jones going over the, one of the Ark of the Covenant, because you're trying to make sense of what it says. Clearly, there's a new investigation, but it talks about
a renewed investigation.
Yes, but reopening the investigation. He talks about in connection with an unrelated case. The FBI is learned of existence of emails that appear to be pertinent to the case. They got to see if they're classified. They've got to see what it means. Here we are. I mean, as we sit here today, it is 11 days before the election, and given the pace at which the FBI does that, and Comey talks about the fact that he doesn't know how long this is going to take, it raises the prospect that Hillary Clinton will be under investigation by the FBI, criminal investigation, as voters go to the polls. They already are now, but on Election Day, and that we could end up with a president-elect who conceivably, not saying it'll happen, could be indicted after she's become president.
Let's say, just for the sake of argument, that the FBI was alerted to some information that might be pertinent to whether she mishandled classified information to a greater degree than he had previously concluded, which he said was not worthy of an indictment.
Right.
And they weren't really going to undertake a new or a renewed investigation. They were just going to look at these, whatever the material is, and make an assessment as to whether a further investigation was warranted. Would he have gone ahead and written this letter to members of Congress, apparently amending his earlier testimony that the investigation was complete?
No. I mean, you've got to know that he hates doing what he's doing here. He had settled this case. A lot of people were unhappy with the decision he made, but on July 5th, he held that news conference, basically laid down a political indictment of Hillary Clinton, but said there was going to be no legal case against her. And now he has to reopen that and has to say, go back on his having said that the investigation was closed in his testimony to all the members of Congress. He's got to hate it, and you have to assume that the only reason he's doing it is because there is some substantial question here about whether his conclusions in this case about Hillary Clinton may have to be amended.
And he does say that one of the things that they're going to be looking for is to determine whether the information in question is classified. If they weren't self-evidently classified, why would you bother?
Right. And, well, one assumes either that they are clearly, or it's at least a serious question.
It does raise an interesting question about the validity, the value, the wisdom of early voting. Wouldn't you say?
Well, yes and no. I mean, look, they could have put this out the day of or something. I understand your point, which is that letting people vote weeks in advance, they don't know all the information. On the other hand, you do want to make it easier for people to vote who find it difficult to vote on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November.
But what we have in our country today is a situation in which people are voting, in some cases, before the first debate. And certainly many people, millions perhaps, voted long before all three debates had been concluded, which seems to me to be the kind of thing. Why would you have three debates if people will already have voted by the time the third one rolls around.
I understand, and Lord knows that third debate was important.
It was the best one, most revealing one of all.
But then, all right, that debate ended over a week ago,
right.
And let's say you'd said, okay, the day after you can start to vote. I mean, to a certain degree, you've got to allow the public, the voters, to make up their minds with what's always going to be incomplete information. And are you going to say, well, but what if something comes out on the Friday 11 days before the election? Or I don't know where you draw the line.
Well, you just have to, obviously it's possible that information can come out after the election. It may make a lot of people consider, but I mean, election day ought to mean something, it seems to me.
Well, that's a balance. But I certainly do say that this raises questions about all the people. Someone told me, I don't know if it's true, I suppose I should know before I came out here, that there are 3 states where you can change your vote. And one wonders if some people may go back now who have voted early and say, well, I want to take that vote back and I want to switch it.
So what do you think? I mean, speaking of which, of course, how do you assess this in terms of its impact on voters who are as yet undecided, or at least perhaps have tentatively made a decision and may react to this?
Well, I think it's going to have an impact. Look, I think there was a growing feeling out there that Clinton was going to win, and that may have discouraged some Trump voters. You could just tell from the reaction today when Trump announced this at the rally that they're going to be more energized than ever. You've also got the revelations about the Clinton Foundation, the Doug Band memo, which is very troubling about the blurring of lines. You've got the Obamacare and these startling increases in premiums for a lot of people. It certainly gives Trump a lot of ammunition for the final 11 days of this campaign.
Right, and I noticed today that he got up, he made the statement, as you heard, about this episode and all that it entails, the reopening of this case, or evident reopening of this case. And then he moved on and he went into kind of his standard speech, but he didn't stray into any of the extraneous matters that have kind of bedeviled him for a period of time, which suggests to me that maybe he's figured out that this is how to campaign, and that he will move forward.
The only thing I'd say about that, Brett, is that the day is young.
Yeah, the day
you never know what's going to happen.
11 days can be a lifetime, right? Chris, thanks. Oh, by the way, so how are you going to?
Well, we've blown up the show, and we're going to have
Sunday. I'm talking.
Yeah, right. We've blown up the show, and we're going to have Mike Pence, the vice presidential nominee of the Republican Party, is going to come on.
Good luck with him.
And what does that mean?
He's been a tough interview.
Well, in any case, Mr. Hume's comments to the contrary notwithstanding, we're going to talk to Mike Pence, and my guess is he'll be loaded for bear on this FBI investigation.
What else do you think?
We are going to talk to Devin Nunes, who is the head of the House Intelligence Committee, and one of the people.
Letter, yeah.
And I got that advice from you that I should get one of these people who was on the. And we'll also talk to the Clinton campaign. My guess is they're now scrambling for whom they're going to give us.
Chris, thank you.